guys, thanks so much for watching Living Coastal. Today we're at 132 Santa Rosa in Silver Strand. We're in the real heart of Silver Strand Beach, and we're gonna go over what it's like to live here, the proximity of the beach and the restaurants and the easy peasy lifestyle that attracts people to here. We're also going to get into pricing comparables and the difference between a fixer and a charmer, and is there any difference really? We're gonna get into all that stuff, so I'm really going to empower you on how to be a savvy buyer, how to pick a place, how to pick a part of property, and how to get a better deal, whether it's in concessions, whether it's in a reduction in price. We're gonna get right into that right now. But before we do, please click the like and subscribe button so that you can see more videos. In fact, you've got to check out our videos on Oxnard beaches because we cover a lot of this area, and also the property that we did on Cahuenga. Okay, so we're about to go take a look inside this cute charmer. Now, what's good about this property is that it was professionally photographed. It is cute, it is charming, you know, very traditional. However, you know, it's a 1940s home. It's been like 80 years and it hasn't had a lot of updates. I'm gonna go into some giveaways that we go in where you can just see right off the bat things to kind of pick apart and kind of pull the price down from where it's at. So being at 1.29, being basically at 1.3, it's a true price. The comps will reflect that for a property that's fully renovated. Renovations for homes that are like anywhere between like 850 and 1,200 square feet, roughly 1,000 square feet, those can be anywhere from 125, 150. You never want to go over 200,000 on those. That's a perfect, like almost a 20% rule where you've got about $1 million house, 20%, you know, 200,000. So you're into it for 1.2, and now your sweat equity has you at 1.3, 1.35. Like that's a good number. If you're at 135 and you need maybe 100,000, 125, then being at 1.3 is too high. Even 1.2 is kind of a puffed price. But the question is will the marketing, will the staging, will the updated photos really get almost above, even 1.2 being above where market value is, or is this place actually gonna sell closer to $1 million or 1.1? Let's go check it out. All right, so I can hear some construction going on in the background. Literally down the street, not so long ago, I think a buyer from the Chicago area, someone who's out of state, wanted the beach home. So great idea, let's buy the cottage. But they got one which is kind of like a regular, you know, bungalow house. Not as cute and charming as this one, but definitely in about the same condition. And they got that, I believe, in the 8s or right around 9. Now, the remodel, they've ripped it down to the studs. So I'm guessing, yeah, they're at least gonna be into it for $125, $150. But depending on the finishes, if you really go with some heavy embellishments, you could go as high as 200. So if they're into that for anywhere at 1.2, that's a fair price, that's fair market value. But if you pay 1.2 and then you do the renovation, you're actually over market a little bit. And especially if you're gonna be putting your own sweat equity in a market like this, where labor's expensive and materials are expensive, you know, who wants to overpay if they don't have to? Let's go look at this place and see what kind of condition it's in. So, right off the bat, my general impression is, I'm looking at the roof. Yeah, they've got some leaf droppings on the roof. There's a little discoloration, but it doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look like there's any gaping leaks up there, but it does look layered up where they've just stuck layers on it 1, 2, or 3 times, and it hasn't actually been redone in a while. So it could really be at its life. And then judging from the rest of the property, it seems like there hasn't been much in some time. So right now, just looking at this basic shutter, you've got one that's in like fair average condition, but on the other side, you've got some sort of wood rot or damage, and I don't know if they have tape over that or what's even over there. But if you've got exposure and you've got sun and you've got water damage right there, that's an invitation for a termite infestation where they get in, they get into the house at that point. Now typically termites, they do just kind of eat the line of wood that they're in, so it doesn't mean they're gonna go everywhere, but there's something going on there. And if there's more stuff like that, it all kind of adds up. So let's just walk down and see. Like any beach home, you're gonna have more rust, you're gonna have more of this oxidation happening with the air. So anything metal, so there's not a ton of metal. This is a cute little, you know, maybe storage, maybe they use it as storage, or maybe they have it as a playhouse for kids. But even at the base of this door, You know, this is just a good example of things to look at. So you're gonna have water is gonna maybe be pooling here, and it's gonna hit there, and it's gonna go in. So even though it's not the main house, it's a really good example of things to look for on the house. So right here on this one, you've got a board, which looks like this actually may have been put in, not as old as the rest of the house, either concealing something or doing something, but this is like a pretty good step. So this is in fair condition, you know, not fancy, not bad. Over here, it looks like they've done some caulking, sealing, and then painting over the caulking to kind of give it more of a flush look, but it doesn't look like it was done like super professionally. There's definitely some rub off going here. It could be a little tighter. Going down off the fascia over here, you can see a lot of discoloration in this area, and we don't know if that looks like it's actually bondoed. So yeah, you can see that was like a repair. So it looks a little funny. And then you've also got that repair issue. They've got cable lines coming into here, no big deal. They've got a rain gutter that doesn't go to anywhere. You know, just probably just drains out on the house. Let's check out this area here. So come on back here with the camera scan. And you can see you've got sand, there's some stone under there, but you could definitely get pooling in a big rain right here. We are on a raised foundation, so you want to note when you have your inspection, is there any moisture under the house? Looking at these windows, you know, it looks like there's just a lot of dirt, but you can see like chipped paint, you know, the screws are detached here. So, well, you know, for the age of it, it kind of is what it is, but if you're a new buyer, you're gonna want to replace these windows. Like, check out these walls are about this thin. They're almost paper thin, probably don't have any insulation in them. So these homes are getting cold in the wintertime. You know, for instance, we're in 805, we're in Southern California. We have fog in the summertime. May gray, June gloom, July why? You know, it's just, it comes and it stays about. And even now, I think we're in September and we're in like a pretty thick, dense fog. So you definitely want a home that's gonna be warmer, a dual pane window. So you add that up around the house and you're gonna have some upgrades to do. Now, this is what we call an electric drop. So right here is where when you're redoing a box or upgrading, you gotta call Edison and they're gonna determine what your ampage is gonna be per the home. And it looks like this is at least 100 amp here. Yeah, and this looks like it was probably like 80s or 90s, you know? So it's not from the 1940s, you know? It's not totally modern, but it's within this day and age. So this box could suffice. So the good news is you've got good elevation off the roof, so you don't have a fire hazard there. And then you've got a decent box. So you could actually work with this box. You could add some breakers here and get the ampage. They've got a good distribution here with the J boxes and stuff. So you've got enough to power the house. But on the interior, we're gonna take a look and it looks like there's still a lot of stuff that hasn't been updated as far as electrical. The listing agent did let us know that the plumbing was updated. We don't know if it's copper or PEX, but we can verify all that stuff during the inspection period when you're going to purchase. Okay, as we walk down the line and we come over here, we noticed, you know, the rain gutter hadn't really been looked after well over there. But as we get here, look at how soft this wall is. It's got discoloration. It's got, you know, wood separation right here. And this whole area, and we'll be curious to see what part of the home is right there. I don't know if that's kitchen or bathroom. It looks like we have a bathroom right here. But right here, you definitely got some issues. So when you talk about renovating a whole home, like this is the type of home that I could see you ripping off all the siding on the home. You can rip off all the siding on the interior and basically going down to the studs like that one there. So the big question is, I'm gonna say this over and over in this video, is does it matter if it's cute and charming or if it's a total fixer? If you're replacing everything, you're replacing everything. So it really doesn't change what's going on in the bank. Again, there's some oxidation on these lights, but this isn't a bad deal, but it's also doesn't really go with the home. This is more of like a functional thing, not aesthetic. And I noticed there's conduit, all this electric conduit is either on the exterior, is on the outside, or it's on the interior, not inside the walls, but on the inside. It's also in conduit. So in both cases, there's probably no electrical wire inside the walls, which is, you know, that's kind of old school. You know, it's not really today's modern standard. So if you're gonna pay, you know, $1 million, $1.2 million, $1.5 million for a property, most of those buyers are gonna want something that's pretty turnkey. because what you're getting in this case is you're just getting a smaller home. You're getting the location, you're getting that lifestyle, you're getting a smaller home, but you want it to be in good condition. So if you're buying something that's on its last leg, you know, so to speak, all the materials are pretty much done, you're really going to be doing the remodel anyway, despite how cute and charming it might be. Okay, so come on over here. This is kind of cool. So this is neat. Let's check this out. So, you know, I don't know what the function of this brick wall thing is. You know, they've got more brick storage, but what is cool is over here, they've carved out, you can check out the plumbing. So she said it was replaced. Now there might've been some repairs, but I see some copper there and galvanized, and you can see the green going back and forth together. When you have two different types of metals going, that's what it's going to create. So there's no doubt, you know, even with, you know, the captain's wheel here and the charm of this sunroom right here, it does have these really cool aesthetics that make it attractive. But when purchasing a home like this and the condition of it, you're still gonna have to renovate and update. So when we're out there buying, we wanna make sure that we're purchasing with that in mind, and that the price that it actually sells at reflects that. There is, for instance, doing research, there was a property that was listed at 1.25, only a few streets down, and it ended up selling in the 9s. And you know, that's a 200,000, you know, 250,000 discount because those sellers were motivated. So if someone's gonna be priced high and they're above what the property truly comps at, this is a buyer's market now. There's nothing wrong with waiting. I know the narrative talks about it being a seller's market, and it was for the last 6 months, but here we are having a perfect cycle, a 1-year cycle of seasonal changes, or seasonal shifting, where inventory now has gone up to normal levels, and the demand has actually subsided. So you can be very competitive in this market as a buyer. You can even, you know, ask for discounts. You can ask for point buy downs. You can ask for concessions, and we're going to show you how. Let's go take a look inside. So right off the bat, as we enter, you can see that this is actually an enclosure or a sunroom. You can tell by the thin window and thin wall, and you can even see the exterior of the home when it was originally built. Now it does give it some added value in that you have a place that feels kind of indoor, outdoor. If it's raining or it's not that nice of a day, you're still kind of indoor. But what makes the difference is that this is actually not a habitable living space. So for instance, you could not, you know, legally sleep here. You could sleep here, but legally you're not supposed to sleep where there isn't a heat source involved. So in the winter months, it wouldn't do that for sure. So we're gonna, this is what it is. So it's permitted, it's allowed to be here. It's an enclosure, but it's just not habitable square footage. So when you're doing price per square foot, this might give some sort of value, but it doesn't give much value on paper when you're pricing out price per square foot. What's really cute is that they've got, you know, the nice little swing over here and a couple rocking chairs. The paint goes with the trim of the house. They've got a little fire pit. So there's a lot of kind of relaxing space right here in the front. Great utilization of the porch, but we're going back to our theme where although it's charming, it still would need some updates. So as we enter the home, what's great is that we have some elevated ceilings and we've got these beams, but it's pretty standard with all design to do something with some contrast in it. Maybe sand these down and either have the warm or the dark look of the brown wood. You can use a stain for that. And then having the ceiling up here, maybe doing something a little bit more smooth coat, but something that creates a contrast. This paneling, some people are for it, some people aren't, but it is so thin. For instance, when you go to redo the electric, you might as well just take the paneling down, create new smooth walls, and turn this into more of a modern traditional home instead of a traditional home with materials from way back in the day. If we come on over here, we can see these imperfections, and this is what I'm talking about. And it's not just one board. It's like, it just continues on. You've got that one looks like it's got a little water damage, it's been eaten up. And when you have old windows, it all just kind of tends to trickle down. Another big giveaway is the electrical conduit. I talked about this outside. So you know for a fact that there's nothing going on in the walls because it's all on the exterior of the wall, whether it's indoors or outdoors, they've got it in this conduit. So you can really modernize everything by taking down the siding, redoing everything, and actually putting in a conduit and again getting insulation in this home. It could really keep it from getting too hot in the summertime, and it can also keep it from getting too cool in the wintertime. Also, dual pane windows would do this place wonders. But the overall layout, I do like. But in my mind, yeah, full kitchen renovation. Although it's on a raised foundation, it does feel some of the rooms are sitting higher and lower, and we'll see that especially when we go into the bedrooms. Let's go check those out. So as we walk into, this would be the den. They have a laundry room here. These doors are pretty rickety. It'd be nice to have a good slider, a good modern slider in here. Access, you can see a lot of corrosion on the piping back there. So when you're buying, $1.2, $1.3 million home, yeah, it's as is, but it's not like it's discounted. It's at peak price for what it could be, not what it actually is. Let's go check out this bathroom real quick. We were on the exterior, we were actually looking in, and you can see the tub has got, a really soft kind of cover up right there. I bet that was completely separated at one point in time. And there's no pan underneath. We were looking right under, so it just all goes down to the floor under the house, and a lot of that wood has been dripped on. Just real basic stuff, like a laminate brick looking tile, so we don't know what the condition of the floor is in here. Even under the sink, we've seen maybe since there could have been pests, or like our rodents. So over there, you could see that they didn't have it sealed up on the exterior, but here they did. You can see they put the puffing insulation, and that's gonna keep rodents out and kind of create a seal. There could have been, there's a lot of staining down there too, so there could have been water damage right there as well. Even this is like loose and rickety. So there's a lot of giveaway, so is the charm there, is nostalgia there? Yes, but so is the wear and tear and the condition of something this age. So when we walk over here, a big cell, you can kind of feel the home is swaying this way a little bit. And I believe it's a ½ inch for every 8 feet. So when you walk over here, from this corner to that corner, and I don't mind a little bit of settling here and there, but this feels like there's a pretty big dip. It really comes down into the corner. So you probably would have to have some underpinning over here, which can be $5,000 to $10,000. And maybe if you're doing that, you might as well just do it around the house so the whole thing feels flat, at least relatively flat. Then once you go into redoing the floors, you can actually float the floor and get it looking and feeling near perfect. What I do like about this home is that it does have a number of doors and egress. You've got one in it. You've got one here, you've got your front door, and you've got the door outside by the kitchen, which is nice. You have three entries and exits. Another giveaway is the lighting in here. These lights don't work, so that could pose an issue. You have some sort of repair done right here, and that could have a lot to do with the settling that was going on in the other room, going that way, kind of pulling the house, apart like that. So, is it in terrible condition? By no means. Is it in, I'd say it's about medium condition, but that brings us back to the same question. Whether a property shows like a fixer or it's been, staged and made to look charming like its original charm, but with a lot of wear, does that really affect the price? You guys, thanks so much for watching. We're really curious to see if you guys feel like this place is worth 1.3 million. What do you think it'll sell for? Do you think that the staging and marketing and photos are really gonna get it towards that peak price? Or do you think it's gonna sell like the other ones did for just under $1 million? We really wanna know. And if you don't have access to look at comps and look at sales, go ahead and let us know. Even through email, we can put you on the email subscription list, and you can actually receive active listings so that you can study the market from your home. This is Jeff Belzer, you're watching Living Coastal, and we'll see you at the beach.